Well, you know who wasn't near Hogan and all that cartoonish buffoonery was Jim Cornette.
No, he wasn't.
And Jim Cornette somehow got lost in the sauce, and his phone connection got lost on the show. Do you remember what happened there, John? Or it's just one of those things?
Probably just one of those things that I guess he was being reached out to. It wasn't connecting. The phone call wasn't connecting, or whatever happened. So we were patiently waiting, and I was getting a little antsy. I was like, well, where is he? Here we are 20 minutes or 25 minutes into the show.
Yeah.
And where's Cornette?
Yeah, you're almost at the halfway point at this point.
Yeah, and then I told Rousseau, just keep calling.
Well,
which wouldn't happen today.
Yeah, no. But, I want to get to this because I love the way Cornette, the first words out of his mouth made me LOL. So let's hear Jim Cornette once he gets
there you go.
on the line. Here we go.
John.
Jim, how are you?
What happened? I was sitting here anxiously awaiting your phone call with bated breath, and everybody was wondering what's the matter with my breath. Well, it was bated, and the phone rang. Times I'd pick it up, there was nobody there.
Really?
Your phone system is being probably butchered. Maybe Jim Hurd is now working for the phone company.
That could be it. He wanted to thwart your appearance here tonight.
Well, actually, I'm sure he was doing the best he could, but as we've seen in prior practice, the best that he can do never works anyway. So.
Well, he is now gone, Jim, and as you know, WCW, the rumors are rampant. The speculation is out there that with Mr. Hurd's departure, perhaps you will be thinking at least of going back into the WCW.
Well, I tell you what, I hate not to give you the first quote, but I was on Wade Keller's radio show 2 weeks ago, and I said this, but since that's in Minneapolis and this is New York, at least nobody's heard it. Jim Hurd's departure from WCW, just because you remove the largest, ugliest, most cancerous growth from the head of the Elephant Man does not make him look like Tom Cruise. And I just, people have been calling and people have been asking. I'm still not interested. I don't care about anything those people are doing, and I wish them all the luck in the world because believe me, they're going to need it. But I'm not interested. And I'm not doing it.
Okay, so
and I'm sure they'll live without me, but I'm living fine without them.
Well, the fans certainly wish that they could see you in a national promotion again, and I know at this time you're not interested in going to the WWF at all either.
It's just, the problem with a national promotion is that's exactly what it is, a national promotion. You got to travel back and forth across the country. The WWF is doing great guns these days, at least with some of the new people they've got involved, and Flair being the champion. And I'm even watching the television program, which I haven't watched WWF stuff in years, and I'm even interested now in watching it. But I'm happy around home here, and I'm happy with what I'm doing, and it's to me it's still not wrestling, but it's coming a whole lot closer than what WCW is foisting off on people these days. So that's a reversal. Who would have thought?
In an era when professional wrestlers were forced to take on silly guises and new personalities, Jim Cornette refused to work for a major promotion because he didn't like the product. And to this day, he sticks to his guns the exact same way.
Well, I mean, he would rather stay home like he's doing right now, too.
Yeah.
I mean, he's having fun. He's
rather than do
life.
something that sucks, he won't do it at all.
Yeah.
I give him all the credit in the world for that. And he's still that way today, and God bless him, because you know what?
It's called integrity. Yeah,
it's called integrity. It's called professionalism, and I think a few more people ought to try it. I really do. He has never done anything to besmirch his status as one of the great performers of all time as a professional wrestling manager. There's no, you know what I mean? He knew what was good and he knew what was lousy, and he was one of the few people in the backstage area that would go, "No, I'm not going to do that because it stinks." And how many people can you say that about? It is, there's a lot of money involved. He was on top.
He was.
And he could have just gone with the flow and become like, make a new character out of himself. He wasn't going to do that because he knew what worked.
When did he come into WWF with the Heavenly Bodies?
I think it was probably 94, 95, wasn't it?
Later.
I was thinking
after was it after Smoky Mountain?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What about? Yeah. Well, didn't he go back? He did go back to WCW too later on.
Well, there was a time. There was a time when he was doing both. I think that.
I guess we'll be covering it. I mean, a lot of.
As I recall, he was in Smoky Mountain at the same time. Yeah, he was in Smoky Mountain at the same time when he was managing Yokozuna.
Yeah.
So Smoky Mountain had not folded at that point. In fact, they even, I think I recalled hearing on a show that they were allowing him to go back and talk about what he did in the WWF on Smoky Mountain's programming.
Right.
So there was a situation where I guess Smoky Mountain wasn't looking all that great in terms of his financial prospects at one point, but he was also enabled to go back and forth and make his own decisions when it came to SMW.
Yeah, he's always been strategically smart as well, and just a credit to everything he's ever done in the business, from manager, performer, photographer, everything else that he's done.
There's some people that thought Smoky Mountain was a failure, but no way. When they were up, they were really up. They brought old school wrestling back for at least 2 years.
They did.
It was an exciting scene at John's conventions. Jim Cornette was there, to meet the fans and whatnot. But Jim Cornette spent so much money going from table to table, going up to his room with board games and pictures and programs.
Because he got a chance to before we let the fans in. Once all the dealers were set up, before the fans were let in, he went in there and he started buying stuff. He spent his whole payday on buying stuff there at the convention. So he loved it.
One of the things I've enjoyed about the Dark Side of the Ring is his participation, and how they brought the cameras up into his home to show his incredible collection of memorabilia.
Yes,
and I'm going to sound like a cornball. I get choked up. There's a segment where I saw one of our magazine covers there. That he's proud enough of being on one of our magazines to have posted it in his home. Mm-hmm. And I was there at the taking of it ended up, I think, on Inside Wrestling. It was the original Midnight Express versus Jim Cornette's Midnight Express in WCW. And it looked like a Justice League of America cover, face to face. Yeah. That was Craig. And I'll give Craig Peters came up with that concept, but I was there when Apter took that photo.
Classic cover.
And I don't know. What better gratification could you have over anything you were involved with than to see it in somebody who's involved home? I mean, that's about as big as it gets, Mm-hmm. I am a Jim Cornette mark to this day, and
same here.
I can't help it. I think he talks for anybody over the age of 45 at this point. I really do.
I always rooted for Jim because Jim was a wrestling fan first.
Yes,
who made it into being a really big star, but at heart he was never not a fan. And like I said, at the convention, Jimmy was spending as much money or more money than a lot of the fans in there, and you could see him going up to it on the elevator carrying all the things that he bought. That was just so cool.
And it was a great auctioneer as well. For that
that's right.
He was the auctioneer. When we did the Flair robe, and when Flair came into the ring and said he'd be world champion again, and talked about when he threw me out of the locker room. But Cornette and Cornette hit me. I mean, he gave me a shot with that freaking racket when I didn't expect it. And
is that right?
It was pretty stiff. Yeah.
Oh my God! Really?
He wanted to get a pop from the crowd that was like circling the ring when we were doing.
You didn't know that was coming?
I had no idea.
Oh my God! Because you know what? That was a very special tennis racket. We'll put it that way.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. And then, of course, the Q&A he participated in at that convention, and it was a great. And he's on video. I mean, it was great to have him there, and it's great. I mean, I listened to him in both his shows still. I mean, I do. I love listening to him, and he's just to this day. There's nobody like him, man. I was so happy. I was so happy every time he appeared on the Pro Wrestling Spotlight years ago, because I knew it was going to be a great segment.
I think he's great too. I don't know what else to say. I don't want to sound like a fanboy, but you know what? I think he speaks for the wrestling fan, and he's still a fan, but I think he speaks for the wrestling fan who feels like we've been pushed aside for decades now, who feels that what brought us to the table is now made fun of by the current product that's out there now. We're made to feel antiquated, as if our money isn't green. There's a lot of things that veteran wrestling fans have had to deal with in the last several decades that has forced many of us to shut the TV off for the last time. And I don't understand why the product can't be for all ages instead of a certain demographic. I think the word demographic should never be in the pro wrestling. It should be for everybody.
It's a big part of it, though, especially when it comes to advertising and all.
Oh,
that.
I know.
It's all of that, but it's
Way of
like
the world,
it's evolution, you know.
I know, but still, you know.
Well, yeah, you could be melancholy and you could look back, and we all wish that it was different, but we're still talking about it, which is
that's
great.
true, and people are listening to us talk about it. Hey, it's not all bad, is it?
30 countries.
Yeah.
And so much more to come here too. So
sure.
over the, we have so much to come. It's gonna be a crazy year.